Hi, everybody. This is Quick Bites with Sir Anthony once again. Today, we're looking, Anthony, at the person of the Antichrist. So let's go through a couple of W's, the what, the who, the where, and the when. So tell us, Anthony, what is the Antichrist? Is it a who? Some people say it's not a who, it's a thing. So what is the Antichrist to you?
The Antichrist is a who, quite definitely. 1 John 2:18 is the only reference in the New Testament to singular Antichrist. And John says there, you've heard that Antichrist is coming. He didn't deny that. People like to polarize and say, well, it's either one or the other. Both things. You've heard of a singular Antichrist coming. That's not wrong. But let me tell you something in addition. There are many Antichrists, plural, already extant in the world in the time of John. Towards the end of the first century, the spirit of Antichrist is the spirit which denies that Jesus is fully human. That's very challenging. Your definition of Jesus and who he is extremely important in deciding who is speaking the words of Antichrist and who is not. So John then says, remember what I'm telling you. The spirit of Antichrist is already at work. Paul then speaks of the man of sin in 2 Thessalonians 2, 12 verses, spectacular verses. The Antichrist would be the same person as the man of sin. In Jesus' language, it would be the abomination of desolation standing where he ought not to. That's Mark 13:14, a masculine he there. In Daniel, from which, of course, Jesus gets his prophecies massively, in addition to Zechariah and other prophets, there you have the man of sin as the king of the north, the final king of the north in Daniel 11, who comes to his end, his demise, his fall. He's killed. The final king of the north, not Rome. Rome, I think, has nothing to do with it, actually. You may have your views upon Roman churches and so on. That's fine. But the Bible itself speaks of the Assyrian or the North Kingdom as the evil guy at the end. King of the North is frequently the reference. He comes to his end, Kitzo, his end, in Daniel 11:45. Then comes a great time of unparalleled tribulation. That's a time in which it's tough for pregnant women, and if you're nursing a baby, this is not an extended period of time, I'm happy to tell you. There are some who think the Great Tribulation began in 70 AD and has been going on more or less continuously for 2,000 years. That's just plainly wrong. Jesus said that it will be days in which it'll be very hard for pregnant women. So forget the idea of a long span of time. That's impossible. Because immediately after that Great Tribulation, Christ will come back. Okay, so the Antichrist spirit then has to do with defining Jesus correctly. You must say that he came en sarki. Notice, not into the flesh, as Luther mistranslated it in the German Bible, corrected by modern German translations. He has to be in the flesh. He has to be fully human, in the sphere of human being. So be careful with your definition of Jesus. If he's really God and man, 100% God, 100% man, you may be playing with words there, unless you're entirely sure what you mean. Better to say with the unitary monotheistic creed of Jesus in Mark 12, Jesus is the man Messiah. I repeat, the man Messiah, the Adoni of Psalm 110:1, the human being. So we have to be very careful not to get the definition of Jesus wrong. And then we have to look out then for spokesmen who are misrepresenting who Jesus is. By that we know the spirit of Antichrist.
Just to pause you there, Anthony. So for Mayer's New Testament commentary, 1 John 4:2, it is arbitrary not only to change the participle into the infinitive, but also to change n into is. So he notes that point.
Makes that point. And that was done by Luther, quite wrongly. Luther, trying to support the doctrine of pre-existence, eternal generation, is corrected there, correctly by the commentary. The Greek has not is sarka, but en sarki, a dative, in the sphere of human being. Sarx is the word that designates real human beings. Jesus has to be fully human, not vaguely human, but mostly deity. Fully human, beginning in the womb of his mother, That's where he became existing for the first time, where he came into existence in the womb of Mary. That's Matthew 1:20. Begotten in her, not just conceived. It was a conception, yes, but it's the work of the Father there, Matthew 1:20. He is begotten in the womb of Mary. He's fully
So
and sinless.
yeah, so back to the what and the who. So it's both a what and a who. So the passage here in First John 2 describes in verse 18 a person, the Antichrist is coming.
Yes.
But also, as you noted later in this passage, in from 22, I would say, who is the liar, and that's the person who denies that Jesus is basically a human being.
Yes.
So,
Yeah.
so if we're understanding this, if you believe Jesus was anything but a human being, if you believe he was God, little g God, an angel even before, so this is an antichrist spirit, it says here.
Yes, it's an erroneous spirit. It may have been in place a long time, but we need to correct that. There's only one God, that's the Father, John 17:3. The
Right.
Father alone is true God. That ought to be clear. Jesus is the man Messiah. If he's not human, if he's pre-human, you're undermining in that very language his humanity, and that's a serious issue.
And his function as the high priest. Hebrews 5:1 says that priests have to be taken from among humans. Also,
beings.
Anthony, just to wrap up in this quick bite.
Yes.
And so we got the what and the who, and the when and the where can be found in Daniel 11. And here it describes that this Antichrist person is from the north of
north of Jerusalem. That would be
modern day Israel.
Yes.
So that would be somewhere in what's up there, Syria.
Iraq, Iran, perhaps.
Right.
Russia is a bit too far north, maybe.
So
but
this
not
person,
the West, though. Not the West, not Rome. That was simply trying to fill in the time where we didn't like Rome, so we'll call them the Antichrist. That isn't strictly biblical. The fourth kingdom is on the same axis, the same fulcrum, the same position, really, as the other ones. The king of Babylon, Medo-Persia, and Greece are all Western Asian affairs, not European.
And this passage, repeatedly, as you said, has the king of the north.
Yes.
And this king of the north, which most scholars would agree is in the Antichrist figure, will at the end be killed.
Yes.
In 1145. So
that's exactly right. Second Thessalonians 2:8 is the precise verse we need there. Says that Jesus, at the brightness of his parousia, that's the Greek word for second coming, his single future visible second coming, there's only one, and Jesus at that terrifying and terrible event will kill off the Antichrist. That's Second Thessalonians 2 verse 8.
And that obviously gives us the when. So it'll happen at the second coming.
That's right.
It should be fairly simple.
Yeah.
All right, Anthony, thanks a lot. This was Quick Bites, as quick as possible. And we'll see you next time.